We are watching Amy Coney Barrett seek, pursuing a seat on our highest court, the Supreme Court. She has been very interesting to watch because when they talked about climate change, Brown versus the Board of Education, and even the Brown versus the Board of Education is why I'm stumbling. It was beyond me that in the current day, one of the questions she was asked was, do you think the president has the right to invalidate votes from people based on their race? And I'm like, this is 2020. 2020, y'all. And so did you see that?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I haven't been watching the hearings. I watch the highlights. I read about it. And the reason is this isn't a confirmation hearing. It's a railroad. I mean, McConnell said going in that they're going to get their Supreme Court justice. So this is all just a formality, right? Just a show. She's been asked a number of things and she's like, I have no opinion. I don't know. You're supposed to be a Supreme Court justice. There seems to be a lot you don't know about.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean you don't know? So will they won't flip Brown versus Board of Education. They will ignore it. That's already been shown. We've already had some school districts that are going back to segregation. And once again, they reverse the meaning of a rule or a law, right? So it's like, you fight for civil rights and you say that you can't do blank based on race. And then they make it all white again, like it was before that, and say, hey, you can't use race, So, and the other thing the Republicans did in this confirmation, in this battle, and this was brilliant Republican strategy. They are good at fighting. I will give them that. They brought up the religion thing over and over. Democrats are using religion. When no Democrat used religion, because then if any Democrat did mention religion, you were falling into the trap, right? But the truth is, it should be brought up because this woman is just short of a cult. I mean, her group called women handmaids up until the TV show, and we all found out what handmaids were.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? She was also asked some questions about the Constitution, which she's supposed to be upholding, and it went a little like this.
What are the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?
Speech, religion, press, assembly. Speech, press, religion, assembly. I don't know. What am I missing?
Redress or protest.
Okay.
Right.
It's good to know. It's good to know a Supreme Court justice doesn't know the First Amendment. That's the one you wouldn't. Why be bothered with that one? They all seem to know the Second Amendment. Let's arm the gangs. And somebody pointed it out to me. They corrected me. Do not call them militias. They are not militias. They are white supremacist gangs. They're good with the amendment that allows those nuts to have any kind of weapon they want. But that whole freedom to protest, well, I haven't heard of that one. Going to have to reverse that.
In this very moment, that's the one that she forgot. I believe people have a right to be conservative, and I believe that people have a right to be liberal. What I don't believe is that people have the right to use their personal beliefs to restrain other people and keep other people from living their lives the way they choose to live, as long as they are not hurting children and other people and following the rules and obeying the laws of the land. There's something that was celebrated about her. Lindsey Graham referred to the good old days of segregation. He actually said the good old days. They are hiding in plain sight right now. I mean, did you see that? I'm sure you saw it.
I had a bit years ago. This goes back to the Bush era where I said, these conservatives, these Republicans, they always want to go back to the good old days. I'm Black. I don't have good old days. What would be the good old days for Black people, right? Wait. Hey, remember the back of the bus? Oh, that was fun. You know, here's the thing, and I read this really interesting op-ed about the Supreme Court. You know, they have this big thing. Oh, Democrats are going to expand the court, expand the court. And I wish I could remember who wrote it, but this person said, don't just expand the court, do a major expansion of the court. They said if we had 29 justices, then no one justice would matter that much. And they said, and when you do the expansion, expand both sides, bring in more, I hate the term liberal justices, but I'll use it, bring in more liberal and bring in more conservative. Because think, if we had 29 justices, if it took 15 justices for a majority opinion, then no one matters that much. It wouldn't matter that much to be replacing the notorious Ruth Bader Ginsburg with the handmaiden, because you know what I mean? Because it would be one vote of 29 rather than one vote of 9. So I think that is one of the best ideas I've read about the Supreme Court. I don't think it will be done because our government can't agree on little things, let alone something as big as that. My big problem with this woman, this originalist theory.
Yes.
And another thing I read, and this was before Kavanaugh with the prior Supreme Court justice. Interesting thing about the Constitution, it's not used to take away rights. It's used to give them. The only time it took them away was when they tried prohibition. But if you look at the amendments to the Constitution, they're always positive, right? Whether it be end slavery or give women the right to vote or whatever. Their idea of using the Constitution to move backwards goes against everything it's ever been used for.
You know, Lindsey Graham, the reason why I'm picking on him is because to watch his flip-flop, you know, he's an interesting person. He's the one that said a couple of days ago that Blacks are welcomed in South Carolina to move about freely so long as they are conservative. And, you know, and then he made the comment about the good old days. And the fact that he has just been so vocal with his bigotry, because that's all it is, it's just an indicator to me about how these people are no longer hiding anything. They're just being very, very upfront about how they feel, you know, stand back and stand down. It almost feels like we're headed to civil unrest, towards a civil unrest, because it feels like they just don't care anymore. They're just like, you know what? I don't like Black people. That's the next thing. Like that's what I'm waiting on to come out of his mouth.
Well, this has been the Trump effect. You know, the Trump effect is say anything you want with no repercussion. And then if there is a slight repercussion, oh, I was just kidding. Oh, that was sarcasm, you know. Yeah, the dog whistle left a long time ago. There's no dog whistle. They're shouting it from the rooftops. And it is because that's their base. You know, Lindsey Graham, and I really didn't like that Dianne Feinstein hug of Lindsey Graham. I don't know what the hell she was thinking, but that's another story. But they showed that there's a commercial. I'm sure you've seen the commercial where the entire narration of the anti-Trump commercial was Lindsey Graham, all the anti-Trump statements he made and the flip he's done. And he hasn't really flipped because he's always been an old South Carolina racist. My mother is from South Carolina, by the way, and she got the hell out, you know, and she told us that had she stayed, she would have been, remember the movie The Help? Yep. She said that would have been her future had she stayed, and that's why she got out. And she actually did work in that capacity through her senior year in high school because it was the only way to go to a place. What they used to do, I'm sorry for going on so long, but I have experience with this. What they used to do in South Carolina to keep Black people out of college was Black schools only went to the 11th grade. You could not complete the 12th grade. So to complete the 12th grade, she had to go to work for a white family where there was a school that she could do the 12th grade, and then she left and went to college. So those are the good old days in South Carolina, and that's who Lindsey Graham is.